Torah calls someone a child, in Hebrew the word is na'ar, it is always taken very seriously. Literally, this word means child, that it's also used for someone who is not an infant, but it is also not a mature adolescent. In Genesis 37, verse 2, we read about Joseph, a son of Jacob. The Hebrew version of this verse calls Joseph a child. The English versions tend to skip over this word by not translating it. And this turns out to be a very important word, and it is sad that the English translators decided to drop it. Because Joseph was not a baby, but the Torah wants us to know he wasn't an adult either. Even though the Torah tells us that Joseph was 17 when he started to have his dreams and was taking care of the sheep, we need to know more about his personality. And this one word speaks volumes. The Torah calling Joseph a child is saying to us that Joseph was immature for his age. Tradition tells us that when a father calls his son or daughter a child, there's no need for explanation. However, when the Torah calls someone a child, it requires explanation. When we look at this section of Genesis about Joseph, we find that Joseph has several dreams, and each of them tell his other brothers that one day they will bow down to him. Now, when you think about the dreams and what Joseph did with them, you can understand why his brothers got a little upset. The Torah is telling us that Joseph acted immaturely because telling his brothers that they were going to serve him, it got him into a lot of trouble. Now, Joseph had 11 other brothers. Benjamin was still a very young kid at the time and of these incidents. But the other 10 brothers, much older than him, started to have deep responsibilities, and they were very envious. The Torah tells us that Jacob favored Joseph and Benjamin because their mother was Rachel, who he loved more than any of his other wives. Let us not let Jacob off the hook because he showed favoritism to Joseph, which infuriated the brothers. He's part of the deal here of why the brothers got so angry with Joseph. You know, there are times as adults we might act immaturely. This is something we need to think about. One of the things the Torah is telling us is that we don't want to be an immature thinker. We must think about what we say and what we do, and what we say is from an adult point of view. I learned years ago about a process of communication called transactional analysis. This is where you look at how people communicate. And when an adult communicates as a child to another adult, it creates a controversy between the two. Therefore, we should always think about what we're going to say before we say it and ensure that we're saying it from an adult point of view and not an immature child point of view. Thanks for listening. My name is Mike Koplitz, and as always, Shalom.